Let's bring in Jeff Passan to the mothership. How did we get here, Jeff, where torpedo bats are all of a sudden all the rage? When was the first torpedo bat used in Major League Baseball?
In the 2024 season, I believe it was Giancarlo Stanton. And, you know, when he had that October that he had last year, Dan, 7 home runs, 14 games. And like, I feel like a clown, honestly, that I didn't notice it because it's such a different implement, right? Like you see it, especially with Jazz Chisholm. It just looks different. And clearly it's hitting different for some of these Yankees players. And 15 home runs over the first 3 games. It was quite the showing by that team.
What is the approval process for something like this, that using this bat and then getting Major League Baseball to sign off on it?
It's actually a lot simpler than you would think. There are 41 manufacturing companies that are allowed by Major League Baseball's approval process to make bats. And as long as you have bats within specific specs, it can't be longer than 42 inches. The barrel can't be bigger than 2.61 inches in diameter. The handle has to be, I think, 0.86 inches. As long as it's within those parameters and it remains a smooth cylinder, you can kind of distribute the weight however you want. And honestly, I'm surprised that it took this long for it to happen, because the logic behind it, that Aaron Leonard, who's now a coach with the Miami Marlins and was with the Yankees at the time and is an MIT educated physics professor, like the logic that he had, it's kind of simple. Imagine a bat as something where you have a wood budget, right? You have a specific amount of weight and mass to distribute over this implement. How do you want to spend your budget? Where do you want to put the majority of the wood or the majority of the mass? It kind of makes sense to put it where you strike the ball most frequently. And that's about 6 or 7 inches down from the end of the bat. And, it's like, this is such a baseball thing because we're caught up in the idea of what the game is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And yet we're in an era where teams are looking for every tiny, minuscule marginal advantage imaginable because they understand that that 1% might be the difference between them winning a game and not winning a game. And so for them to do this, it was really just a matter of time. And more than that, this reminds me a lot of back when the Rays started using the opener, right? Like any other organization, you would have tried to do that with. The pitchers, what? We're going to start a relief pitcher? What's the point of this? Like, you need buy-in. And that's where Aaron Leonard started this whole process. He went to players and he said, okay, how do we counteract the incredible pitching that exists in baseball right now? Like, what can we do? What would you like? And the players all got back to him and they said the same thing. We would like a bigger sweet spot. And so that's what they did. They went out and they made a better mousetrap.
Okay, but it's available for everybody, correct?
Totally. Absolutely. We saw it with Ellie De La Cruz last night. I had talked with a couple of bat manufacturers yesterday. Like, they've been preparing for this. Like, they went around during spring training this year, and there was a whole lot more intrigue among players beyond just the Yankees, to the point where, all of the major ones at least, have the ability to now turn a bat like this on their lathes. And so this is going to answer the poll question. This is going to be common. And this is going to be something that is the new normal in baseball. Now, is everyone going to use it? No, of course not, because bats are all about feel. And if a guy orders a torpedo bat and he's all in on it, and then he goes 0 for 6, he might say, I'm going to throw this into the wood pile, burn it. I don't ever want to see it again. But guys who are finding success this early, they're going to lean into it. And I think I'm not going to say this is directly attributable to the torpedo bat, but it would not surprise me to see an increase in offense in baseball this year on account of better equipment.
And baseball can't, have a problem with that if there's more
No,
offense.
no. No, it's always a matter of balance, right? Like we've seen this in sports in the past. When Stan Mikita curved his stick back in the 1960s and Bobby Hull was using a curved stick as well, the NHL had to put rules into place on curvature because too much imbalanced the game. When we saw swimmers wearing those full body suits in the Olympics and they were breaking world records all over the place, it's like, okay, is this where we want our sport to go, to a place where technology is not just taking over, but taking it to an area that we never imagined, and that throws off that natural balance. So baseball's always monitoring that sort of thing, but considering where offense stand has gone in recent years, yeah, they could use an injection of it because pitching is so damn good these days.
Talking to Jeff Passan, ESPN senior baseball insider. Speaking of pitching, I was wondering, I'm always of, I guess, the awareness of things will come back around, like rushing attempts in the NFL, like the running back would come back, and we saw that last year. I'm wondering if there's going to be a comeback for a starting pitcher, but he's not starting a game. Let's say I start a game with relievers, but I get to the fourth inning, and now I bring in a guy who's built for the rest of the game. Because some pitchers, like Mariano Rivera, was not a starting pitcher, but he became the greatest closer of all time. Certain guys are really good at closing. Other guys, Kurt Schilling wasn't a good closer, became a great starter. So I wonder, could you see somebody who still keeps alive the workhorse pitcher in baseball?
I think here's the flaw of that specific argument. I do believe, to be clear, that there is room for a workhorse starting pitcher still. I think it's going to take an organization that has a risk profile that trends more toward risky because pitchers get hurt. Like that's a thing. But the issue I have with bringing a guy in the fourth inning is that by the time he's in the eighth or ninth, he's going to be going the third time through the order, right? And the beauty of relief pitching is that it's a new look. That you haven't gotten a chance to see this guy, and it's brand new stuff, and you don't know what's humming that day, and you don't know what might be a mediocre pitch that day. Like it's a fresh start. Whereas if you have that starter in the fourth inning, the starter in the fourth inning and bring him in, by the end, he's going to be more tired generally, unless you're like prime Justin Verlander. The crispness of your pitches are not quite the same in the latter innings as they were in the former. So, and especially because those eighth and ninth innings are the highest leverage spots in the game. Yeah. Like every run matters, right? A run in the first is equivalent to a run in the ninth. But when those 27 outs start ticking down to 24 and 21 and 18 and down to, 9 and 6 and 3, there's more value in that. There's more opportunity to win the game at that point. And that's when you want your freshest arms as opposed to guys who have been grinding through for 100 pitches.
What do we call the A's?
I mean, I'm happy to call them the West Sacramento A's. Like, I know they don't want that, but we tend to have this thing in American sports where you have the city and then the nickname, and not having one of those things, even with like the Redskins turning into the Washington football team, like there's something after the city. So not acknowledging or recognizing the city outside of a patch on your shoulder, it's Bush, but that's kind of how the A's operate. It's a Bush organization, and they're squatting in a minor league ballpark for 3 years right now, and it's super weird. And that is the expected consequence of 20 years of failure to build a stadium where, frankly, they should have, and where a stadium was warranted. But John Fisher wanted to go to Vegas, and I get it. There's money to be made there. There's a stadium to be built there, but it's going to be a weird interim period in the meantime.
I hope they get to host a playoff game.
Me too. I am with you on that. Did you see the media tent?
Yeah, look good. Look very accommodating. We're calling them the Triple A's. So,
oh, I like that. But they're better than that. That's like they're going to be a decent team this year.
Here's a stat for you before I let you go. In 1995, Tony Gwynn had 585 plate appearances. He struck out 15 times.
Yeah.
In 2025, Rafael
Rafael
Devers has
Devers.
struck out 15 times in 19 at-bats.
Yeah. I love those numbers. I also think that comparing anyone to Tony Gwynn is patently unfair because that guy, he was one of a kind. And I, I love modern baseball. I would love to drop Tony Gwynn into 2025 to see what he would look like. Like, would he have at all embraced the notion of launch angle and of exit velocity, or would he just be like Luis Ariz, perfectly happy to go around and just bat 320 every year?
I think Gwynn would probably bat 320, but he would hit 30 home runs.
Yeah.
I think he hit 20 home runs. This is a guy who stole 50 bases in a season. I think he hit 20 home runs. I remember Wade Boggs telling me, if they wanted me to hit home runs, I would hit home runs. But there's no better guy in taking a ball to left field than Wade Boggs was, and that's what he was paid to do.
And that's this goes full circle, Dan, with the torpedo bats, because the thing is, when you redistribute the wood down to the sweet spot, that means there's less wood in other areas of the bat that do like make contact with the ball, right? And so this is players saying that I am going to deprioritize contact for hard contact. I'm going to give up some of those balls that are just a little bit off the sweet spot in order for the other ones to be doubles and triples and home runs. And it's a very simple reason, because slug pays. And if you can hit the ball for power and have a high slugging percentage, you are going to get paid in arbitration. You are going to get paid in free agency. You are going to end your career in a much better position financially than somebody who goes out and hits 320 with a low slugging percentage.
Great to talk to you as always. Thank you, Jeff.
Pleasure is mine, Dan. And the lime green, my God.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think you're saying that's great. Is, by God, lime green, is that a compliment? Jeff Passan of the Mothership.
Noteworthy.